I do these lives because I am the mother of four children who all graduated from college, and three of them had full scholarships while they were growing up. I did not think that there was anything unusual about my children. I thought they were just regular children. People would always ask me um, what I did to make them that smart. And I would say, I didn't do anything. They just do what they're supposed to do in school and they do their homework. So as a result, I did not learn that there was something that I was really doing until I had grandchildren. And my children brought it to my attention that, Mom, is something that you're doing that is different, that is making the children know more than their playmates, than the people around them. So, with that being the case, I decided to start doing these series of videos on how to make your child love learning, or how to help your child love learning. Because the bottom line is, if your child loves learning, then they're going to excel academically. Okay. So, with that being the case, today, I wanted to go over some of the daily activities that we do on a consistent basis. And I want you to know that consistency is the key to your child learning. Okay. And it's easy to be consistent when you have set times that you're doing things. Okay. You have set times that your child eats. Okay. You have set times, and I'm talking about 0 to 4, 5 year olds, pre-K, preschoolers, because this is a very important time in their lives. This is the only time that you really have to make the biggest impact on them, because they are learning more things during these first few years than they learned the entire time. So that's why I'm going through this. Hi, Cameron. Glad you could come in and join. So, again, I'm Dr. Yvette Kennedy, and I have four college graduates who now have children, and I am now very intentional with my grandchildren in teaching them things to see how much they can absorb. Okay. And so there are some things that are key. One of them is being consistent and doing things on a daily basis. And I want to tell you, the first thing that I start out with them when they're about 6 months is when I start teaching my grands. But at about that time, one of the first things that I am very consistent with them in is doing puzzles. Okay. And I start out with an alphabet puzzle. Let me see if I have it right here. And this is that puzzle. And you guys who follow me, you probably say, she's showing that same puzzle again. But there are those who are here who have not seen it before. But this is just a plain alphabet puzzle that you can introduce to your infant at 6 months old. And you are holding the infant because they can't really sit up by themselves. So you're holding them on your lap, and then you are going to teach them how to take out the puzzle pieces by gently guiding them. Okay, and I know this is a review for a lot of people, so just hang in there, because I want everybody to get the message of what is, what I do. Okay, now this is what I do. This is not the only way. Okay, my doctorate is not in education, it's in the medical field, but I kind of fell into this because when my children were young, I decided that I needed to stay with them because we moved a lot. Okay, and it was, I didn't really trust anybody else to keep them, so I was kind of like that. So anyway, turns out it was the best decision I ever made because I was able to be with them in their formative years, and I knew exactly what I was putting into them. So I didn't realize that what I was putting into them was going to make such a profound effect in later life in their school. But now that I know, I want to share it with you. Okay. I want to share it with you because it's not something that takes a rocket scientist to do. Okay. All right. So when my children were little, oh, well, I was talking about the 6 month old and this puzzle. So what I do is I keep the puzzle parts in a Ziploc bag, a regular Ziploc bag. Okay. And this puzzle is my 10-year-old puzzle. My oldest grandchild is 10. So, what I do is I have this here and I hold the child's hand and I put their hand in and say, take one piece out. And then I help them take that one piece out. I tell them what that piece is. I'll say M, and I'll say M says, okay. So I do that and we do it every day. And now we started at 6 months with my 1 year old now, and now he is putting some of these in himself and he's saying them. Oh, and he's just learning how to talk, okay? But he kind of makes the sound like or m or p. He's doing that and he's not even talking yet. But I'll take the letter, put it on the board with their hand on it, and I'll take their pointer finger, hold their pointer finger, and help them slide it into place. Okay, so that's one thing that we consistently do. We do this, I keep him 5 days a week. So we do this 4 out of 5, 4.5 days, okay, out of the week on the average. So that's the first thing. And then we take it off of that and I say, let's put it in the bag. And I'll go over the letter again with him and then we'll go in the bag. I hold his little hand while he has this and say in the bag. And after a week or two, they know what in the bag means, just being consistent and doing it. And they do that on their own. Okay, so that's one thing that I do. Now, there's another little puzzle and that's from 6 months, okay? Now, from birth, I sing little songs to them, and whenever I change them, I'll do Itsy Bitsy Spider, okay? And at the end of, well, this is how it goes for those of you who do not know this song. It's an old song, and you probably do know it. But in the event that you did not hear this song when you were a child, this is how it goes. And I do this at diaper change, every diaper change. A itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and washed the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain. And the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. And then at that point, I do a ba-dump, 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 ba-dump. And I do that on their tummy, kind of tickling their tummy. And they just cackle. They love it. They love it. And so now my 1 year old, well, he's, I guess, almost 15 months now. He, when I start changing his diaper, he starts doing this because he wants to do Itsy Bitsy Spider because he knows that's just what we do. Okay, so that's one thing. And let's see here. So the other thing that we have been doing is shapes puzzle, and the shapes help with their mathematical skills. The alphabet puzzle is going to help them with reading, and it is called early literacy. And early literacy just means that it is before they learn how to read. Okay, so this is one thing that helps with their math with the shapes. Okay, so this is actually a bucket with this on top of it, and it has a little handle, but I don't have that here right now. So what we do is I'm teaching him the shapes, and to try to associate them. And then I will help him. He'll go like this and try to put it in here and things like that. But I'm just patient with him and let him try for a little while. And then eventually I will help him and help turn it. And when it goes in, I say, "Oops." And then I'll clap for him to let him know that he did a very good job. And I do the same thing with each one of these little blocks. Now, my 14-year-old now knows, he knows which one is a circle, so he puts that one in very easily. And he kind of knows the star, but it's kind of hard for him to get it in just the right position. But I can see the progress that he's making, and it's just very exhilarating when he does. All right. Hi there, Victor. Okay, so this also, I'm going to just use this. Okay, so like if I had this on the floor, I have found that it also works well with putting these in and sliding it like so, and it's stable for them. And they see exactly when it goes down and stops on the floor. So variations, be creative with your little one, okay? Play with them. Just let your mind flow with what you can do with different things, okay? And everything is a learning opportunity for them because their minds are like sponges. They are making a million nerve connections per second from 0 to 3 years old. So they're sponges. Everything is learning for them because they come out of the womb not knowing anything. So look at how fast they have to absorb things. So you might as well give them something that's going to last and contribute to early literacy and early math. Okay, so we do that. Another thing that we do at mealtime is I might, when they're very, very young, I'll sing to them as they're taking their bottle. But when they're able to sit in the chair, that's when I introduce screen time to them. And one of the first things that I will introduce is the ABC 13 songs. Okay, you look that up, Google that for YouTube, ABC 13 songs. And I like it because it goes slow. It has big pictures on it. I can point to it. And I also like it because I can use it not only for the toddlers, the 6 to 1 to 2 year olds, not only can I use it for them because they're learning their alphabets, but I can also teach my 4-year-old and 6-year-old. I can make sure that they are practicing their spelling. For some reason, I think they took spelling and vocabulary out of the school system, but when I was young, many, many, many years ago, we had weekly spelling and vocabulary tests that we had to take every week. So we practiced spelling. And even though my 4 and 6-year-old can read like very fluently, okay, 2 or 3 grade levels above their age, they can read and understand. But when I ask them to spell a word, that takes different cognitive skills. So back to my point with the ABC 13 songs, they put up, if you've seen it, you'll see that they put up the word, okay? They put up the word, and then once they put it up, they take it away. So once they take it away, they're still talking about that animal or whatever the object is with that letter that starts the word. So when they take it away, I ask my 4-year-old and my 6-year-old, I'll ask them to spell them. And they've got words like hippopotamus and giraffe and balloon and words like that. So it's like, okay, this is really good for them too. Even though at first I thought, oh, this is too babyish for them. They already know this. They know how to read the words, they know what they are, but the spelling part it really helps with that. So you can integrate those things with different age groups as well. Okay, so today, today, one of well, yeah, my 4 year old got it to start with, and then the 1 year olds, they were crawling around and they found it too. So the xylophone. Now let me tell you what I used to do. I used to have this right by the television, and when the X came up, the word for X, one of the words for X was xylophone. So I would keep it there and I would show this to them real time so that they could touch and see it. So today, I'm going to have me some musicians because today they got this thing and they were going to town on it with the little thing. Now, this xylophone, I think, is probably about 8 years old. But I know they do have them on Amazon because I've seen some. Now, this one is metal. So if you can, you may want to get one that's plastic because when they're really young, I don't do this. I have another one that is plastic. So anyway, but they found this and they were musicians today. And guys, I'm just giving you things, ideas, so that you can implement these things, but some of these things are consistent. Now, another thing that I do with them at mealtime is I will, when they're eating, let's say they're eating a banana or a sausage that I have chopped up, and you guys, you don't want to give your young ones, like if it's like a link, you want to make sure you cut it in half because that link or a hot dog or anything like that is the exact size that it can get caught in their throat and they can choke on it. So make sure you cut it in half the long way so that, before you give it to them. But anyway, I chop mine up really, really smaller, and I put those on the tray or a banana chopped up on the tray, and I'll have them counted. And after they eat one, I'll say, okay, or let's say we put six down, and I'll take their pointer finger. Okay, you take their pointer finger and point it to, and then you do it each time. Okay, and then like let's say it's six, so they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then one of my 1 year olds, before he says six good, he's got it in his mouth, okay, because he's definitely a carnivore. And he says, and then I said, okay, six minus one equals, and then we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and we do that until they're all gone. All right, so that's that. That was math. That was math. Um, Yesterday, what I did was I read the 1 year old, I want to be a veterinarian. Okay. Of course, he cannot read, and he probably didn't understand half of what I was saying, but we were able to point to pictures, and I was reading on a higher level than what his reading level is, but reading aloud to your child is very, very advantageous, and it helps with early literacy because it lets them hear words, it lets them see the pictures and associate them. It even helps them to learn how to read a book because it teaches them how to turn the page, and that when when you're pointing to the words, you point left to right. Yeah, left to right. So that's one thing that reading does. Now, of course, I do read things on his level as well. And one of the very early stage that you can start this with your infants, with your newborns, you can start something like this. This is leading to reading as well because they don't have their color vision those first few months. Something like this is good. Okay, so, and it's just black and white. What I'll do is I'll say a black car on a white background, and I just talk to them and tell them. And the other day, my 1-year-old, he just had to do these things, and we haven't done them in a long time because we're reading like real books. But this is what that was, and you can find these. This is what this one is called. Let me see, maybe this, and this thing just cost. You see the price there, $8.99, but it was a little while ago, maybe a couple of years ago. Okay. All right. So, reading. You want to read to your child every single day. Okay. Now, you also want to talk to your child. And this is something that I learned early. Um, when I had my first child, I'm kind of quiet. So I would just do what I was doing, and I didn't really say too much to her. But then my husband actually says, talk to the baby. I said, I don't know what to say to this baby. So I learned, I started talking about whatever I was doing. Okay. Okay, baby, it's time to change your diaper now. All right, let's change it. Let's wipe. Let's do this and do that. And now, since then, I also do the little things like the itsy bitsy spider and sing to them. I've learned. Okay. And I'll do like this little piggy went on their toes. I do the big toe, or the big toe. This little piggy went to market. The next one, this little piggy stayed home. The next toe, this little piggy had roast beef. The next toe, this little piggy has had none. And then the final toe, this little piggy cried, wee, 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 all the way home. And make sure you do that, wee, 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 very animated, and just kind of gently pull on that baby toe, and they like that. Okay. And they also will raise up the other foot for you to do it on that foot. Then also doing peekaboo is very good for them too. They just cackle. Peekaboo. Okay. Also, you can start teaching them anatomy. Okay, the anatomy of the body. The first thing that I teach mine that they really learn is the tongue. So I just stick out my tongue and say, tongue, tongue. And they will start trying to stick their tongue out as early as 2.5 months. It just happened with my 2.5-month-old about 3 weeks ago now. And I was like, I was really kind of surprised, but it was pretty nice. He started sticking out his tongue like that. Okay. And so those are things that you can do on a daily basis. Okay. So for early literacy, you want to talk to your child, to your 0 to 3 to 4 to 5-year-old. Okay. You want to talk to them. Okay. You want to sing. Like I said, I start out singing the Itsy Bitsy Spider. And I've given you other songs that I sing, other ones. Another one that I sing with my 14-month-old is The Wise Man. And I'll go over it really quick. This is the rock. Okay. And I put his little fist together, and he's beginning to put his own fist together now. And he does the sand too. So this the title of this song is The Wise Man, okay? Or The Wise Man Built His House on the Rock. And this is how it goes. You just put your hand up like this, make a fist with the other hand, and this is how it goes. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The rains came down and the floods came up. And be exaggerated, okay? The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. And the house on the rock stood firm. And you look real firm with it, okay? And then the next part is the sand, okay? The foolish man built his house upon the sand. And then I have them rub the sand. I said, show me the sand. And no, they do this a lot faster than they do the rock because it's harder for them to get this concept, but it's easy for them to make the sand, okay? So here we go. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and then you show him the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, you show him the sand. And then you do the rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up. And the house on the sand went and they really like that too. So those are some. That's another song that I sing with them, and I've got lots of songs. But also, I was just thinking that when we're doing this, okay, that is actually physics because a rock is a strong foundation, and if you build something on it, it's not going to fall. Whereas if you put it on sand, the sand's going to just, not be sturdy. So well, it may not be physics, but it's science. Okay, so that is what happens with that. Okay, so all right. Those are some of the songs. Now, so you're going to talk to your baby. Just talk to them about whatever is going on. Okay. You can talk to them. Okay. You can tell them what every toy is. This is the alphabet bucket. This is the puzzle bucket. This is whatever. Tell them what you're doing as you do it because hearing your voice helps them to um, learn how to talk. Okay. All right. So talk, sing, read, and play. Be sure to play with your child, okay? All of these things, like this xylophone, is playful. Putting these in here is playful. It's making things into a game. And so those are the things that I wanted to just share with you on that. And just please be consistent and do these things every day with your child, or at least 5 times out of the week. And you will see eventually, after 2, 3 months, you will see and that they are catching on because they'll start giving it back to you. And when they do, you're like, wow, it's working. It's working. Okay, so now the next thing I want to switch from the pre K, okay? I want to switch from them and go to your older children, okay? I have been telling you also about summer programs, okay? Now, I told you about the Summer Spring Board. The application for it for scholarships has passed, but the Georgia Tech, and I do that because I live in that area, and Georgia Tech has several, and it is one of the top engineering schools in the whole United States. And when I say one of the top, it's in the top five, or depending on what discipline you're talking about, it may be 6 or 7, but it's in the top five of them all. So you want to take advantage of those types of schools if you live in that area for your second grader through, or sometimes K5er, but your second grader through your senior in high school. But now you're going to have done some things with these children for them to even be able to apply for scholarships to these programs, or for them to want to go to those programs, especially when they get to the 11th and 12th grade, though, or rising 11th and 12th graders. Those applications to get into those summer programs many times are very stringent. So you want to make sure that you have prepared them to do what they're supposed to do. And it starts very, very young at 6 months. Okay. So if you are past that area and your child is second grade, third grade, even middle school or high school, it's not too late. It's not too late. You can go ahead and try to get them into these programs so that it will um, make them more marketable for college scholarships. Like I said, 3 of my children got full scholarships to college for 10 years worth of college. 2 of them went on to get their doctorate degree paid for. So you have to do these things in between so that they can be able to compete for those types of scholarships because it's not just the GPA. Okay, so I had told you about the Georgia Tech College of Design pre-collegiate program. It's for 11th and 12th graders, rising 11th and 12th graders. So the deadline for that is May 1st. The last time that I looked, a lot of those programs were filling very, very fast. So, but you can still take a look at it. Okay. I do know one of my clients who got the summer springboard scholarship. So I was just elated about that. And now Georgia Tech has another summer program, and it is called the Summer Peaks program. And they had a virtual orientation on, today is Thursday, on Tuesday night. And so I went to that orientation. I went so I could tell you guys more about the program. So what I want to do is just share some of the things, because I think yesterday they opened it to the public, and they said that those classes, they do fill pretty quickly, but they have programs for second graders, rising second graders through rising 12th graders. So they have elementary, middle, and high school programs that you can go to through this program. And now these are day programs, these are not residential. They do have one residential program that is given, but the majority of these programs are day programs. Okay. So I just wanted to give you some of the highlights of the orientation that they had. Um, First off, if you have a second through fourth grader, they do not have those programs up yet. Okay. But they are going to get them up within the next couple of weeks. Now, to be able to find out about these programs, what you need to do is register for their newsletter. Okay. Register for their newsletter, and they will let you know when the elementary programs are being publicized. Okay. But they said within the next 2 or 3 weeks. They also said that all of these programs fill up within about 2 to 3 weeks. Now, the other thing is that the deadline, okay, they have programs in two cities, and this is the Georgia Peaks STEAM program. The summer the Georgia Tech Peaks summer program. Okay. Google it, look it up so that you can get on their newsletter, and then you can fill out the application, because the application for the Midtown Atlanta area closes on March 15th. Okay. Yeah, now, there is a price. Okay. And anything worth having is worth paying for. Okay. Your child is worth paying for. All right. Um, so there is a cost, and I think they have 4 day camps and 5 day camps, and they said something about the 4 day camps were in the 400s and the 5 day camps were in the 500s. They do have a residential program. I think that it is for 1 week, and I think they said it was 1700. Now, don't get all bent out of shape if you just know, hey, I cannot afford that any kind of way. We're just scrunching. Okay. If you can't afford that, you need to get your child enrolled in at least 1 week. Okay. At least 1 week, because this is going to build them and give them exposure. Okay. Exposure is the key thing that your child needs to know, so that they can expand academically and socially. Okay. So you need to get them in some type of summer program that will expose them to different careers, different methods of doing math and science, um, just for the exposure. Now, you definitely need to investigate yourself. Okay? You need to investigate and make sure that the program is doing what it's doing. The only programs that I really talk about here are with major universities. Okay, and the only reason I'm telling you is because these are the things that I did with my children. Okay, I did with my children. One of them went to a Georgia Tech program one summer, but we didn't live in the area at that time, but we did programs in the area where we live. And what you can do is just contact the major university in your area and ask them about the summer STEM programs or summer STEAM programs. And then you can also ask them if they offer scholarships. Okay, because many of them do, because there are incentives, because there are programs that are trying to get more people on an even level so that they can be exposed to these same things, and their great minds and their potential can be tapped into. Okay, so that they will have a chance like everybody else. Okay, so if you just definitely say, oh, that's too much. Don't say that's too much. Just get busy and see if they have scholarships and apply for the scholarships to see if you can get one. Now, um, the residential program with the Summer Peaks program with Georgia Tech is it's for 1 week, and it's for 10th and 12th graders, and it's a robotics program. And I'm reading from my notes here. Also, scholarships. They do offer scholarships. None of the scholarships will pay everything, but they will help you. And just because you apply for it doesn't mean you're going to get it. Okay. So they have 3 tiers: 25%, 50%, and 75%. So you need to check with them. Again, the deadline to apply for these is March 15th. And they have 2 locations, one in Atlanta and one in Savannah. The deadline for the Savannah area is June 1st. What else? Like I said, there are elementary, middle, and high school programs. Um, they are on a weekly basis. So I think I've given you enough that you can, do the rest of the research yourself. Because if you don't care enough to look it up, then I feel sorry for your child. But you are not like that. You are a parent who wants your child to succeed, and you want to expose them to everything that you can to help them to build confidence, to know more, and to explore and be exposed to different careers, different um, disciplines, and different majors. Okay. And to just have it be something that it's a normal thing for them to want to go to college, okay, and to want to learn. Now, I told you last time about the I Am STEM camps, okay? You can go to iamstemcamps.com and find out about their registration. They are operating, I think, from June 15th through July 10th, okay? And their programs, you have to look at the website because each program is different. I live in the Atlanta area, so I looked at that one, and I wanted to let you know that there was a mistake on their flyer on the number, okay? The number on the flyer was 770-353-7319, and it was a misprint. The correct number, if you have tried to call them since I told you about the program, the correct number is 770 343 7319. So instead of a 5, it's a 4. Okay. And that will get you to the right place. So I wanted to give you that tidbit. And their program is from K5 through the one in Georgia is K5 through the 5th grade. And then some of the programs are through the 8th grade, but you just have to look at the individual program that's closest to where you are. And those programs are in Gainesville, Florida, Stark, Florida, Kingston, Jamaica, Atlanta, Georgia, and I think that was all. But you can go to the website. Go to the website. I am STEM Camps. IAMSTEMCAMPS.com. Okay. You go there and you can look and see yours for yourself. Oh, and the other place that they have locations is Lawton, Oklahoma. Okay, so much for today, you guys. Thank you so much for coming and listening to me tell you about these things about your babies and about how to prepare them for life, to be successful in life, how to love learning. Okay, I am excited about a book that I am going to release very soon, and I will give you more information on it. In the meantime, please subscribe to my channel if you are interested in anything. If I said anything today that will help you, subscribe to my channel. And when I come back on, you'll get the notifications. Or you can shoot me an email. And the email address is on my YouTube page, Dr. Yvette, YVETTE, at YvetteKennedy.com. Thank you so much. And you guys have a great rest of the day. Bye.